world powers must act together because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu.
Somewhere Europe has to grow out of the mindset that Europe's problems are the world's problems, but the world's problems are not Europe's problems.
चुन चुन करके हिसाब लेना ये मेरी फितरत है.
Why should it be a problem? If I'm smart enough to have multiple options, you should be admiring me.
भारत झुकने वाला भी नहीं.
The rise of India will be determined by India. It will be determined by our strength, not by the mistakes of others.
The old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't liked and subscribed my channel, please do like and subscribe if you like the videos on world order, trade, economics, energy, corridors, all that. Please do like and subscribe. But first of all, let's get started. Let's talk about something very important. Okay, what that is that India is trying to build the European landing zone of its corridor through Greece, and that corridor is IMEC, India, Middle East, Europe corridor. And this is important because this is going to change the entire power structure in the Middle East. And this is something I've been talking about for quite some time now, past 3-4 years, wherever I have written articles or whatever. Then this is what I have said, that the entire Persian Gulf through the Middle East, it will be all governed by India, Iran and Israel ultimately. Okay, but all that will happen under the India's leadership. But how this game is working, how the foundations are being laid to handle this is very important to understand. And what I'm going to talk about is one of the pieces of that puzzle, okay, of the many things that are happening around it. Okay, there's lots of moving parts involved into this, but what I'm going to talk about is one piece. Okay, so let's get started. Let's talk about it without much ado. Please do stay with me till the end because this is not a very long video, but even if it is long video, please do enjoy it. If you will learn something. Okay, so first of all, let me actually break it down something for you. So what happened is that India's commerce minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, he met with Christos Dimas, who is the Greece's Minister of Infrastructure and Transport. And the primary focus of that meeting was the investment opportunities in northern Greek ports for future IMEC use. Long story short, what I'm saying is that India is planning to buy those ports or have major investment, major share or major shareholder or the majority shareholder in those ports. So what exactly is that? Why India is all of a sudden doing all these things? So that's what we are going to discuss. Okay, but first of all, let me actually show you what exactly is going on. And this video is not about the news at all. Okay, so stay with me. Don't think that I'm just going to talk about the news here. So what exactly happened? At the center of the discussion was the India Middle East Economic Corridor, with Mr. Demos pointing out that India's support for Greece participation in corridor constitutes recognition of country's geostrategic and geo-economic position as well as its reliability as a key link in international supply chains and value chains. At the same time, it was emphasized that IMEC creates significant prospects for the future development of bilateral economy. These are good stuff, right? Now, strong interest in investment opportunities in the ports of northern Greece was expressed by Indian minister with the aim of strengthening the relevant infrastructure and their future utilization within the framework of IMEC planning in the near future. Two ministers also agreed on creation of stable channel of communication, all the good stuff. So we are not going to get into all that good stuff. Okay. Long story short, discussion, a very strong interest that the media wording, but strong interest simply means that they're looking to get major stake into it, just like India has a major stake in Haifa port in Israel. And India is actually creating its own port empire. And I'm going to talk about that in a dedicated separate video as to how those ports are very important. They are going to be in very important key strategic locations. And all that for the purpose of trade. So what's happening in this thing? Let's first of all understand the game. Okay. See, what's happening is that India is not looking for these ports in Greece. India is not working on just getting one port. Okay, India is working on getting a whole entire region where the ports are. It's like almost 3 or 4 ports. Okay, so India is looking at Greece to basically as a landing zone. Okay, so what's happening is that Europe needs a, I would say, Eastern maritime gateway, and India needs a European entry point, something that is not trapped inside, old choke points or Chinese control infrastructure. Because you have to understand this, that China also has one port in Greece as well. That is Piraeus. It's called Piro, or I don't know, Piraeus. I guess Piraeus is a Greece big port. Basically, it's the biggest port that is owned by COSCO. It's a Chinese company. It's a Chinese state-owned shipping company. Okay, it holds 67% stake in that Piraeus Port Authority. So India is not buying that port. India is not getting into that port. Instead, India is actually interested in 3 other ports. That is Thessaloniki, or something like that, and then Kavala, and then Alexandropoli. These 3 ports. Now, how that is going to change the game is important part, right? These 3 ports, basically what they're going to do is that they're going to be the gateways into the Balkans, Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and the Black Sea system. So Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, they have already. So Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, what they're doing is they're planning to create a trade corridor through Sea of Aegean, through Black Sea transport corridor. Okay, so so all that work is underway. Once India acquires these ports, then all that will be connected, and India will get the entry into the Black Sea as well. So, what exactly is going on here? See, number one thing is this. First of all, actually, I'm not even gonna go too much into it here and there. I'm just gonna explain you the game, the whole entire game, so that you know exactly. Okay. So, I'm not gonna get into all the technical lingos. Let me explain you. All right. So let's go to the map here, real quick. Now, what do you see here? You see something called Ottoman Empire Shahenshah. So what was happening is that before IMEC will go from here to Cyprus, then from Cyprus to Greece. Okay. Now Greece. So the 3 ports that India is looking for is these 3 ports. Okay. 1 second. All right. So this is right here, and port number 1 will be right here, Thessaloniki, Kavala, and then Alexandropoli. Okay, these are the 3 ports. Now, what was happening is that before all this, or let's just say up until now, what was happening is that China used to be the main supply chain. Through what? China used to be the main supply chain. 1 second. This is the whole, anyways. So right here, okay, and now China used to be the sole supply chain provider supplier of this whole entire thing from China all the way to Europe. So what was China doing? China was coming to Europe through Kazakhstan like this, Turkmenistan like this, and then they would go through from here. Bypassing, they would go to Tehran through Iran, and then they would go get into Turkey. Oh, and then they would go to Turkey, and then from Turkey to all the way to directly into Europe, like this. Okay, and that was one way to do it. And then other one was through Russia. They were doing Russia through Ukraine, then through Romania, like that. Okay, and then other one was through Indian Ocean, then Suez Canal, and then they were going through this the Piraeus port, that Piraeus port authority, that the Chinese owned, okay, right here. And then they would get into this. So basically, to address different portry, different countries in Europe, they were using different routes. That's what the whole entire game was. Okay. Now, after Europe saw the what was happening with China and all the Chinese influence that was growing, so they figured that uh, depending on one particular country, create the dependency. Let's just say dependency. Okay, the dependency creates problems, and dependency create problems as in vulnerabilities need solution. Okay, and depending on the solution, you have the consequences. Okay, so depending on China created the vulnerability of what? Vulnerability of supply chain, vulnerability of being locked in, locked out, all that. Okay, so Europe's solution was that, hey, let's work with another country that is going to provide us everything. Historically, that has always happened, and that country was India. And once the IMEC was announced, and IMEC is not something new. In the old days, IMEC was, you can call it, you can say that IMEC was incense corridor. Okay, incense corridor, where India used to provide spices from here to, this whole Saudi Arabia, to Greece and all that, to Roman Empire. The Indian empires used to provide all that through this. It was called incense corridor. Okay. Anyways, coming back to the point. So to replace China, they had to create a supply chain here. And I mean, Europe figured that, okay, they need something alternative. Alternative to who? Alternative to China. So now what was happening is this. Let me actually make this bigger. And China was using every trade corridor was going through this, through Turkey, and then all that. Okay, now, so and Turkey was also becoming a little bit more imposing itself on other countries, like for example Cyprus. Then they were trying to create mess in Greece as well, and then a few other places. Okay, and Turkey started to say that they own certain areas in the Black Sea because of their geographical location. And actually, I can go on and on about it, but let's just stick to what I'm discussing. Okay, so what India did is India figured that, okay, it's time to avoid that. Why? Because India and Turkey don't see eye to eye, simply because of Turkey's support of Pakistan into India's internal matter of Kashmir, that Kashmir region that was illegally taken by Pakistan. Okay, so Turkey always showed support to Pakistan on that. So India said that, okay, we are going to show you how it is done, and India started to show support for who? Cyprus. And now India is saying that, okay, we are not only going to show support to Cyprus, we are going to enter your backyard. And how we are going to do it? We are going to enter Dubai, then from here to here, then Cyprus, and then Greece. Okay, now Cyprus deal has been discussed. Haifa port has already been discussed. Saudis are already on board. All this, and then Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, and UAE is already there. Then I think another one will be Oman. Oman is already there too. So all these countries will join IMEC. All right. Now, so since Turkey was a single point of failure because of the strategic location, and the strategic location, strategic location was important because of China, because Chinese were trying to use this to get into Europe. In fact, the whole conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan has been there because of this situation. Why? Because of this particular thing right here. You see this? Azerbaijan wants to take this part that I have just painted right there. Okay, Azerbaijan wants to take this part. Armenia is fighting to save this because that is the Armenian part. So why is that? Because if that happens, the Chinese can directly get from Azerbaijan directly into this to Turkey and like that, instead of going all the way here and all that. It's just a convenience, I would say. Okay. Anyways, so now when India enters this thing, the number one is that the ports. Let's look into the ports. Okay. Now we are going to talk about the real thing. Now these ports here, if you look into, this is one port, this is Kavala port, and this is Alexandropoli port. Now what exactly is happening is that your Bulgaria, Romania, and all these countries, they are actually trying to form a trade corridor already. They are saying that let's connect uh, this, then you have Alexandropoli right here, then Kavala, all this through here, and then they want to use this here, then they want to go into Bucharest like there. So this way you will have access into the Black Sea as well. Okay, now this is what the whole entire game is, and this is why India wants to take these ports. Now, when India invests into these ports and India takes control of these ports, okay, and because this will give India access into Balkans, Central Europe, Eastern Europe, all the way, right? And rest of the access that India needs is simply India will get it from Russia, anyways. Okay. Now the problem, another in India is doubling down on this whole entire thing is because it's not just the trade thing at this point. It's about the teaching a lesson to Ottoman Empire Shahanshah here. Because when you start to spread your wings without beyond your limit, then something has to be done. And that's what is being done here. Why? Because once all this is ready, then slowly and slowly it will have a serious economic impact on here. Okay. And that economic impact is going to further ruin their economy even more. So they will learn the lesson not to meddle into other countries' business, even though they say that they have a reason why they interfered into India's personal business. But Pakistanis have their own reason too. Okay. But now India is not just doing this thing, and I'm going to talk about other things some more. But here's the thing: India also has defense pact with Cyprus. India has defense pact with Greece. All that. Okay. The problem here is this: that Turkey's interest in Cyprus is not about Cyprus as a landmass or something. No. That may be the case, but the thing is this: that this part here, this part of Cyprus right here, actually, this has oil, natural gas. This is oil and natural gas rich part, and so this is why Turkey has always laying claim on Cyprus, the Cyprus. Now they're worried. What Turkey is concerned and worried that they were laying claims while India is going to get the port here, and India is going to start investing into oil and natural gas here. And this is going to become part of what? This is going to become part of IMEC with the full support from Europe, the European Union. And when that happens, then Turkey, forget about laying the claim, Turkey will have to worry about its own backyard after that. So that's another reason that India is entering here even more so. Okay. So but entering northern Greece here, like I explained, northern Greece gives India access to Balkans, Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and all that. And not only that, if India wants to militarize this whole thing, even though India, as always, India never says that they have militarized anything. They always maintain a low profile into things. But of course, if you're going to run $1 trillion business through this zone here, then who is going to actually provide the maritime security to this whole entire thing? Is the question that you have to ask yourself. India and European Union already has defense pact on this thing about the maritime security of the Red Sea, of the Aegean Sea, all this. Okay, so which means that clearly India will enter here. If India enters here, then India needs places to dock its ships, dock its corvettes, dock its aircraft carriers, its destroyers, and all that. Where do you think India is gonna dock? It's gonna dock into these places. Now, when India will do that, then the Ottoman Empire Shahenshah right here, he's gonna learn a lesson that uh, you should not unnecessarily spread your wings beyond your reach, and don't mess with a power that is twice or three times your size. And that's what's gonna happen again. Because, see, another reason why I was saying earlier, the whole entire power projection, that that's the thing, is that this is gonna have a major impact in the Middle East. Why? Because in this here, Turkey is, at least I would say that uh, it is a formidable power as far as compared to these these countries right here. Turkey still is a formidable in a formidable position, I would say. But but once this power right here is snubbed and uncontrolled, then they all will fall in line. But here what's happening is that once these countries, they have already joined IMEC, but once your Jordan IMEC, all these Bahrain, Qatar, they all join the IMEC, then what you will see is that right here, this country will automatically fall in line, and they will also want to join IMEC, or they will go quiet. That's the thing. And when that happens, then like Bibi Netanyahu once said, that if Turkey will run its mouth little too much, then Turkey is next. So this is a game that is being played, and this is why I said that it's going to change the whole entire power structure of that particular region, and for a good reason. Now, somebody may say that, with Iran and everything else going on, how this is gonna manage. See, simple thing is this: India already has a naval base in Oman. India doesn't have to get inside the Hormuz like this to do anything. Okay, that was a case. That is one of the many cases. Okay, India doesn't have to enter there. Okay, one second. Yeah, India doesn't have to enter Strait of Hormuz. India can simply go to Oman, and from here, India can simply go to East Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, and then Jordan, then Israel, and then from here, Cyprus, Greece, and all that. They can do that. They can also use the Red Sea too, because in ancient days, in old days, India used to have multiple trade corridors. India used to have trade corridors here through Somaliland side, and then also, if you one second, I'm trying to, yeah. So India used to have trade corridors from all the way from here, and one second. So all the way from here. I hate this. Okay, all right. So from here to here like this, then Tanzania, Mozambique, and then there are some islands here too. So all these used to Madagascar and all the India used to have trade routes through all these places. What you're going to see over the period of time is that all these trade corridors will be revived. You have to understand this, okay? To get into each and every part of Africa, you have to do that. And then from Africa, you enter here, then all this is connected one end to another, these are all connected, and then you get into here, and then you can go to Europe, you can go anywhere else into Africa and all that. So anybody who thinks that Iran can block or any other country cannot, that's not gonna happen. Okay, second thing is that once all the dust settles, then only country that then Iran will, it's highly likely how this whole thing is gonna end in the Middle East, in the Strait of Hormuz that's happening, is that Iran is going to sign the Abraham Accord. Okay, Iran is going to sign the Abraham Accord, and then everybody will fall in line, meaning that then Israel, Iran, and India are gonna work together and along with UAE to keep everybody else in line. Okay, why? Because Iran also needs its economy improved, and this is the only way. And by the time Iran and all other countries get into this sense of, uh, how do I put it, that hey, economy is important, by that time actually the now oil and natural gas supply chain and all will be diverted enough to, uh, so that this is not a dependency anymore. And that work is already underway. Okay. And so this will have impact on lots of things. Now when Europe will work with India or trade with India, then it's gonna only make sense even more so that Europe starts to work with Russia as well. All that is gonna happen. I don't know how that's gonna happen, but eventually there will be convergence in this area as well. And I'm gonna talk about all that later on in some other video. Okay, but for now, this is the whole thing. This is what India is doing. India is basically going to invest into buying, or they may buy it, or they may invest into those they will definitely invest into those three ports, just like they have investments in Haifa. Okay, and I just explained you why that is and its impact on the whole entire region and the power structure over there. Okay, I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys in another video. Take care.